Hello and welcome to day 126 of Facebook Live. My name is Jessica Lozano and I'm a feminine embodiment mentor and relationship coach, sacred union coach. So I help women have extraordinary love lives with the love of their life. So today I'm going to share with you the books that I've read, relationship books that I've read that I've read, and I want to give you a scale from 1 to 10. I know I've said that I was going to do like reading from a book, giving you a quote from a book that I'm reading and whatever, all of those things like that. And I have not read this weekend at all. Did I do it last week? I can't even remember. I don't think last weekend I had my period was Ron's birthday. I didn't read last week either. So I was like, I really like the reading idea. It's just that I have not been reading this weekend, so it doesn't make sense. And I felt that this would be fun, and you can start getting some of these books based on what I tell you about them and my experience with them. And these are the ones that I have. I think I've kept all. There is one book that I do not have that I did give to one of my personal training clients for her. I think she would really like it. I think she would really resonate with it because it spoke her language, and I think so that's the only one, but I will mention her once I get to the same author. But I thought that this would be fun, and I could share you kind of like why and when did I start reading it, kind of give you a little bit of backstory on it. And like I said, you can go get them yourself, start reading them yourself, see if you like it. And yeah, let's make it light and fun. So the first relationship book that I can remember that was given to me was this one. Women Men Love, Women Men Leave. What Makes Him Want to Commit. I had this on my bookshelf, and I had it on this wrapping paper. My mother gave it to me, and this was when I was with my ex, and we had a very, high and low relationship. We were always fighting. Literally every week we were fighting, like bad fights. And she put this in the front: because good, healthy love is worth it. I'm going to be honest with you. I read it, but I do not remember anything of it. Okay, I did highlight some things. Does his appreciation and respect grow with time together, or does it diminish? Do you feel an anxiety over the passage of time? Do you find yourself making an excuse for him? Are you being too understanding and forgiving? Obviously, I was doing all of those things. Why would I highlighted those things? I don't remember reading this at all. I do remember like reading it and finishing it, but I don't remember what I absorbed from this. I did highlight a lot, as you can see. Understand that no matter what a man tells you, he will basically trust and respect you more if you value yourself. Take a chance and talk about your feelings. Tell him of your fears and point out your responsibility for and participation in the whole process. From then on, you must assume the attitude and posture of asking for more and setting limits on what you will give. When you believe you have the right to expect love back, he will move closer to you. If he does not, it is best to find out now and move on what you truly deserve. So I believe that the reason why I did not remember any of this, I do remember it being a pretty easy read. Like I do think I read through the whole thing. But the reason why none of this really landed, I think the seeds were getting imprinted, but why I didn't have the memory of it was because it was so much going on in that time. Like it was such a toxic, tumultuous relationship that I was so blindly devoted to this man that I don't remember any of it. But this is the first one, and it was from my mom. So even though I don't remember it, but I just from what I highlighted, and from the fact that I do remember it was like an easy read, like I read the entire thing, I would recommend it. And I would say, oh my God, there's a test in the back too. What is this test? Let's see. Scoring 7. That was my final score. Wait, what does it say here? 0 to 4. Oh, 5 to 7. Men will generally feel open, at ease with you, although a score within the range doesn't suggest the presence of subtle barriers that may prevent real and ongoing closeness with the man. Such boundaries may result from personal questions relating to self-worth or to unclear and ambivalent reactions to the more vulnerable aspects of men's feelings and behaviors. Got a 7 on that one. Let's see what this one. How innocent expectations become dangerous. So there's a scoring thing. Like, I even did all that. I don't know. So I don't remember, but I did that. I think it would be a good read and a good indicator of, like, I wasn't ready to take action when I read this. So I'm going to say, I want to give it a 7. Now, the other book I read, and I do remember this book, Boundaries. This is when me and my ex, when we broke up, the first breakup that we had. And I remember getting this book. I think I was looking for books to read, and I was just really looking for, like, things. And this book gave me a lot of aha moments. Like, oh my God, yes. Oh my God, yeah, this is exactly why. And I remember that first breakup was the first time where I said, like, I really need to get my shit together. I really need to make sure that I'm taking care of myself. So I didn't make any, like, that breakup changed the trajectory for me. It really changed, it really allowed me to question myself and question my own way of being in life. And question if I was on living the life that I really wanted to live as a woman, as a human being. And that's what started to show. So I do remember reading this, and I do remember it being very good. So I'm going to say it's an 8 out of 10. So if you're having boundaries issues, I would definitely recommend this book. So it is by Henry Cloud and Dr. Joan Tenshed. And this one is by Dr. Connell Cohen and Dr. Melvin Kinder. Oh, authors of Smart Woman, Foolish Choices. Interesting. So these two, so a 7 just because I really don't remember it, and I can understand why. My life was just so wild. And Boundaries. Okay. The next book that I read, and I remember it being a very super fast read, is The 5 Languages of Love. I read this book in an entire weekend, and I highlighted a lot of things in here. I took the test. It's really awesome to take this test if you have not taken it. Most people know it. Know about The 5 Love Languages by Carrie Chapman. I heard that it's been renewed. Like, there's like some new love languages that have been added to it. Easy read. There is only, I will say, there's just one chapter that I absolutely did not like. And it was about the physical touch. It was a chapter where the man told the woman to have sex with her husband, do not ask anything in return, because that was his biggest complaint. And then finally, after a few times that she would have sex with him, because he was starting to feel a little bit more at ease, or he was starting to feel, I guess, more in love with her again because he was getting his needs met. Then she started to ask about, what she wanted and things like that, started to open up to him, which I did not like that advice. That was the one chapter where I was like, oh, hell no. Like, that felt so wrong to give. But overall, I think it has really good, really good stories, and helps you to understand your partner when you take the test, and helps you understand how to do the love languages, like how you can relate between each other. So I would say this is like a 7 out of 10. Like a 7 out of 10. It's a good, easy read, and you definitely have to take the test. Even though I heard that they upgraded it, but it's worth it. It's worth understanding it, and it's worth getting to know your partner a little better. Ron's love language is physical touch and words of affirmation. And then my love language is gifts, acts of service, and physical touch. Like the gifts is like number one, and the acts of service and physical touch are like right there at the top. So, and it's interesting because you can usually see by how the other person like acts with the other person. Like Ron is always giving me like words of affirmation all the time, and I'm like, thank you, I appreciate that, and I would appreciate something else more. Like he knows that, right? And I had to make like an effort to make sure that I am showing him appreciation and in love. Like he just loves it when I tell him like at least once a week, really giving him like, and usually it comes on Monday. For some reason, Mondays I'm really happy because we're both home, we're both working from home. It's the day that I don't have any clients. And so it's the day that I really prepare myself for the week. I connect with my money. I look at what I have to do for the week, and tomorrow I'm watching something really special. So usually I'm like really happy and I'm really in a good mood. So for some reason, like I go to Ron's office and I just give him a big hug and tell him like I love him and I appreciate all that he does for us. I think appreciate for the home, like all of those things. And that means so much to him. And he definitely loves physical touch, which is so interesting because for me, physical touch is something that was a big thing before. And I think my ex, because he was Latin, there was always a lot of PDA, a lot of physical, a lot of touching. But with him, it's so different because I know he likes it, but I guess because he's white, like there's like this energy that's kind of like almost closed off, and that almost pulls me off as well. Like it's interesting. So I have to make a little bit more of an effort to do that, but it's well worth knowing that. Okay. So I also got that when I was with my ex. This is the other book that I got that was with my ex as well. The 7 Principles for Making Marriage Work. Now, me and my ex weren't married. We did get engaged, but I got this book before we got engaged because we were having problems and I wanted to make it work. Some of the things were good. I would say this is like a 5 out of 10. We didn't get much far into it because my ex didn't quite find it amusing or anything like that. He didn't quite like it. So I didn't finish it all the way to the end, but 5 out of 10. The 7 Principles of Making Marriage Work by John M. Gottman. That's interesting. These are all Gary Chapman. These are all men so far. These are all men. Okay. Let's see. What was the next book that I got? I believe it was this one. It is a classic. Can you read it? Oh. Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus by John Gary. Right? John Gary. So Ron and I started reading this together. And we started reading this together. And when did we start reading this together? Was it after we ignited our relationship or before? I can't remember. But as we were reading this, first of all, he's a little long. Like he kind of repeats the same thing over and over again, which for me, I was like, okay, you already said that and I get it. And because Ron and I have such a healthy relationship that I was like, I don't really resonate with all this. This would have been definitely in my previous relationship, absolutely. But like in us, I was like, we have all of this really good. There was a section that I thought was hilarious. Let me see if I can find it. Which, by the way, all of these are books that were just on relationships. This is not about feminine embodiment, things that helped me be a better lover because of deeply being more embodied in my feminine or, healing my relationship with my sexuality. Like I have books on those, but those aren't like specifically relationship books because working on those things is part of like your relationship to men does improve your relationship, but it wasn't like about relationships. These are the ones that are about relationships. Where was it? It was about scoring. It was about points. It was about how men and women score differently. Like, for men, if we give a man, have sex with him, it will last him for like such a long time. We don't really have to do much for him. However, if we have sex, if a man does something for us, like one thing, it's not just that. He needs to consistently show up. And it was like, when I read it, I'm like, this is so funny and it's so true. Like, it is so true. Because it showed the difference between men and women, and the man, being the masculine energy, showing the woman consistency, meant a lot more to her and allowed her to feel loved, allowed her to feel safe, allowed her to open up. And women, we don't necessarily need to be giving a lot all the time to the man, because they're not, in order for them to feel loved and all of the things. Let me find it, because I thought it was so funny. I thought it was really hilarious. Let me see if I can find it and share it with you. Yes, here it is. Scoring points with the opposite sex. Little things make a big difference. There are a variety of ways a man can score points with his partner without having to do much. It is just a matter of redirecting the energy and attention he is already giving. Most men already know about many of these things, but don't bother to do them because they don't realize how important the little things are to a woman. Yes. So it gives like 101 ways that you can score, right, with a woman. Let me see what it says. Oh, here it says, some men may start out in a relationship doing the little things, but having done them once or twice, they stop. Through some mysterious instinctive force, they begin to focus their energies into doing one big thing for their partners. And then they neglect to do all the little things that are necessary for a woman to feel fulfilled in the relationship, which is consistency. Okay. These are just suggestions. I'm not going to read those. A woman knows she is loved, blah, 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 blah. Okay, just as men need to continue doing little things for a woman, she needs to be particularly attentive to appreciate the little things he does for her. With a smile and a thanks, she can let him know he has scored a point. A man needs his appreciation and encouragement to continue giving. He needs to feel, this goes along the whole creative life force cycle that happens between men and women, between respect and adoration and cherishment. Women want to feel adored and cherished, and men want to feel appreciated and respected. So the more you respect and appreciate your partner, the more it like fuels his tank to give on like the energetic level. Okay, let me see. But where was the actual, there was an actual scoring section that I thought was hilarious. So, but what I love about this book is that it really, when it starts saying about men are from Mars and women are from Venus, it really starts to paint the picture and the distinction between men and women, and how if there was a planet that was all about women, which is Venus, how would it look like? And he describes it perfectly, and then it describes it with men. So it really helps you understand like the difference and why in our relationship we can't expect our partners to be the same as us, and that we are so different, and it is a gift that we are different, and there is co-creative powers and life force within this gift of us being different. But we also, that means understanding the other person and learning how to live and communicate and be with them. Okay, here it is. How women can score big with men. So this is the points down. Points he gives her. Wait, points he gives her. Okay, so yeah. How women can score. So this is the woman does something and it's gonna score with him 10 to 20 points. He makes a mistake and she doesn't say, I told you so, or offer advice. 10 to 20 points. He disappoints her and she doesn't punish him. 10 to 20 points. He gets lost while driving and she doesn't make a big deal. 10 to 20 points. Right, these are huge. These are some huge numbers. 20 to 30 points. He gets lost and she sees the good in the situation and says, we would never have seen this beautiful sunset if we had taken the most direct route. What's another? Okay, 10 to 50 points. When he apologizes for a mistake and she receives it with loving and acceptance and forgiveness, the bigger the mistake he makes, the more points he gives. 10 to 50 points. Okay? So, like, he forgets where he puts his keys and she doesn't look at him as though he was irresponsible. 10 to 20 points, right? So these are, you have just scored 10 to 20 points. 50 points by, what was it? By acceptance and forgiveness when he's made a mistake. Okay? Let me just show you the other one. Hey, hold on. Where is the man? Hold on a second. There's did I skip a page here? Because I know they do it the other way around too. Because if I remember, the women's points were just like one point. Like if a man opens the door for her, that's like 1 point. Like we don't score 10 to 20 points. Where is it? Maybe it's somewhere in there where I read. Where is it? That was the funniest part that I wanted to share with you. It says here, men give points different from women. Every time a woman appreciates what a man has done for her, he feels loved and gives her a point in return. To keep the score even in a relationship, a man really doesn't require anything but love. Women don't realize the power of their love and many times unnecessarily seek to earn a man's love by doing more things for him than they want to do, overgiving, overfunctioning. When a woman appreciates what a man does for her, he gets much of the love he needs. Remember, men primarily needs appreciation. Certainly, a man also requires equal participation from a woman in doing the domestic duties of day-to-day life. But if he is not appreciated, then her contribution is nearly meaningless and completely unimportant. How men give points? Where is it? How women give points? Well, I don't know where it is. I'm not going to spend my time looking at it, looking it up, but I thought it was hilarious. Maybe it's something here. But it was really funny. So I would say this is also another 7 out of 10. Just be mindful that that he may be a little repeat the same things. So that was when I'm with Ron. So these were the books that I got when I was with him. So one that I got as well that was recommended by a lovely woman that I really admire, Women Who Win at Love. Personally, this one was by Suzanne Becker. So now we're getting to feminine authors. Suzanne, and then she has this other one, An Alpha Woman's Guide to Love and Marriage or something like that. I read that one first, and I honestly didn't quite like it. I don't really resonate with her that much. I think her language, she has more of a masculine tone. She's funny. She is funny though. And this one and the one before, the book before, the one I just mentioned, to me, I don't know. I just didn't really, it wasn't what I was looking for. I was looking for something more feminine written. So I'm going to give this for me a 4 out of 10, but that's just saying that I think that women who really resonate, maybe who are maybe in the beginning of redoing their masculine energy, like the beginning stages, I think this would help. Once you've kind of gone deeper into softening your shield and you've been more embodied in your feminine energy, I don't think you're going to relate to these. And I think that's what happened to me. If I would have read this in the beginning, I think I would have, like in the beginning of my journey, I think I would have related with it and would have liked it. But it was, funny woman, a little masculine with how great information. I will say great information. She really talks about the difference between men and women in sex, how men can have sex and just like move on, and women, if you have sex with a man, like it's just not the same. We want containment. We want someone there. We want him to call even if we don't really like him. Hi Danielle, how are you? So she does give studies because she is, I think, she and John M. Talisman, PhD. I don't know who John is. I'm not sure if that's her husband or if it's just like someone that she works with. But there is really great information on this. So if you just want good information, I would read this. And I would read her other book, An Alpha Woman's Guide to PhD, but isn't going to give you that kind of like full on feminine, like so in love feeling that I like to feel when I read. Hey sister, and good thanks for these daily videos. Yay, glad you like them. You're welcome. This is a book that I absolutely love. And it's called Buddha's Bedroom. This, I give it a 10 out of 10. Wait, I haven't completed it yet, actually, because I read this when I had moved to Florida. Ron was still in Jersey, and we started reading it together, but it wasn't landing the same for some reason. But there are chapters in the end that you need your partner. Like, it's about the sensuality, right? We haven't gotten to that part, and I think I'm just going to go ahead and skip to that part with him, because a lot of the things that she's talking about here in the beginning chapters are great. And when I read them, I thought they were so great. They were so mind-blowing to me. They were so centering me and like really opening myself up more to Ron and to who he is and like how he does so much for me just by being him. So to me, it was awesome. We did do some exercise in it together. So this is really good if you're in a relationship and you want to create more connection, you want to rebuild, you want to reignite your love. This is a good book. I do recommend this. The sexual polarity on this is not quite on. There are some things that she talks about that I feel, how do I say this? Some of the things that she talks about and shares about, it doesn't have like the feminine embodiment role and the masculine embodiment role. So she doesn't really talk a lot about sexual polarity on here. But there's like with some of the suggestions that she does, I can't remember exactly what it was, but I remember feeling like, oh, that's not really a feminine embodiment thing to do. That's more of that woman being like a masculine embodiment. So you just got to keep your mind on that. Or like not masculine embodiment, but like being more forward versus being in your feminine. That's beautiful that you can dive into different material and practice together. Yeah, Buddha really wasn't about that polarity. Yeah. You read the book? You read the book here? It was really great for connection. It's really great for appreciating your partner. Oh yeah, Buddha himself wasn't about polarity. Okay, now I got it, right? Buddha was about the middle path, right? Buddha was kind of about an androgynous embodiment. Yeah. exactly. Now I got it. You're right. So exactly, it's gonna have an androgynous field. Thank you for that, Danielle. It was appropriately titled, yeah. So it does have that like good information, good read about just being in the present with your partner, right? In the present with your partner. So for sexual polarity, I don't recommend it, but for just being in the full presence, and being in being in a unapologetic acceptance, like a full acceptance of certain qualities about you and your partner, this is very good. Because I do remember in the sensual part, I was reading about how she had a couple and that they were very much about like, yeah, like they could feel each other, like they could be very present with each other, yet they couldn't, like they didn't have like the spark, the spark. They didn't have the spark, and it was really that they weren't connecting to like the raw primal nature in the bedroom. So she does have really good examples here. I don't necessarily like her voice for the meditation parts that she has included in here. So I've done the meditations on my own. But still, good book if you're in a relationship. Yeah. So the other one that people love so much, but for some reason I cannot get behind, and it's Dear Lover, by David Data. Maybe it's just this specific book, but I don't know. I just really couldn't get behind it. It would kind of bore me. His writing is a little bit more kind of like poetic type of vibe. I have that one too. I feel the same way, right? I don't know. I just couldn't get behind it. I'm just like, I don't know. A Woman's Guide to Men's Sex and Love's Deepest Bliss. I don't know. I just couldn't get behind it. So I would say 1 out of 10. Hard to catch the rhythm of the way he writes. Yeah, I feel like maybe if he had like an audio, I'm not sure if it's an audio or if he was like doing like a live rendition of it, I think then you could be like swept away, I think, in his words. I think that this would be good with, but I don't know. 1 out of 10 for me, but some women absolutely love it and they rant and they rave about it. So I think I barely got past the first couple pages, first few chapters or whatever. So those are the books that I read. Those are the books that I give you my honest review about, ones that I recommend, ones that, I don't know, some that I don't even quite remember because it was like when I was with my ex, the very first book that my mother gave me, that I highlighted a lot, but I do not remember at all. Clearly, I was just too much in the darkness to really absorb and take action on it. But you got some references there if you want to check them out, and get them for yourselves. And I have something coming tomorrow, so definitely keep a lookout on my page because you are not going to want to miss it. Thank you so much for being here live, Danielle. I really appreciate you, and I hope you have a great rest of your day. Bye.